friends and enemies, and welcome back to another build video. Here we are at the last part of this scene that we've been doing for the last few videos, building out the Great Lakes attack that's going on with the Locust unit. So last time what we saw happening was that it seemed like about half the team was doing well and about half the team wasn't doing great, and that's where we're going to pick up. The biggest thing to remember is that Warden, our hero here, she is in the midst of a battle that she could easily win, but something's a little off, something's a little wonky, so we're going to keep an eye on that. So you can see I'm getting some of the locusts set up in a new position as we move Doc Nitro over to a position where he's not being completely manhandled by these beasts. You can also see that Shifty has jumped down as per our last video and is getting ready to try and help out with the Omega and the Kappa units. So there's a whole lot going on here, and lots of locusts all trying to steal any kind of things that they can, or maybe they're looking for something specific. Maybe we just need to wait and find out. So here we see Shifty. She's gotten into her position. She's got one around the leg and the other one's coming for her. You got Mercury. He's gonna just deck this one right in the face, knock that Omega unit on its ass. You see Doc is doing his thing, trying to get away, but he's also surrounded, and in the foreground you can see Warden. She's just wrestling with one of the Alpha units. There's another Alpha unit that's taken down Tech, her tactical robot that she brings into battle with her. It's wrestled it to the ground, and now it's going to try and pull it apart. Maybe there's something in Tech that they're looking after. There's Warden, and she's in a very precarious position. You don't really want to go hand to hand if you can help it with the Locust units, because they have a trick up their sleeve. And there we see DA having subdued his and buried it under sand. He's going to try and help out with what's going on with Doc Nitro and Mercury. So this is me taking photos. If anybody's interested, it's all about coverage. I try and get as many as I can, and then I'll go back and take a look, see what I got. And obviously I'm going to take a lot more pictures than I'm going to use, which is the way to go about it. You always want more than you need, because once you have everything, that's all you got. And if you don't have enough, then you got problems. So here we go, setting up for two. You can see Shifty getting into a new position. Shifty was the best of all of these figures when it came to balancing. It really wasn't as much of a pain in the ass as it was at other times. Her build is one where her balance is pretty good. She's pretty straightforward. She doesn't have a whole lot of things hanging off of her, or any weird weights in any strange positions. So I would put her and Mercury as the two that are easiest to work with, at least on this one. You can see that we're getting into the warehouse now. The units have broken back into the warehouse where this whole thing started, and they're bringing Doc with them. He's gonna get pulled into this warehouse too. You can see I've put in a few extra pieces in the space to help blend the background and the foreground between the two. We have some machinery, some big old crates, and in a second we're going to get some Locust units in there too, along with Doc, who's getting his flames attached to him right now. There you go, buddy. Alright, get in there. Yeah. Got some Gamma units that are tailing Doc into this warehouse. He is way outmatched on this. This is going to be a problem for him, unless someone comes in and helps him out. We got an Alpha unit. He's coming in. We got the Alpha unit that's still wrestling with Warden. Only that's starting to turn a little bit, and that's starting to turn because of the nature of the Locust units. Locust units are made out of microbots. For anybody who hasn't read the piece that we're working on right now, or if it hasn't gone up yet, the Locust units are made out of microbots. Those microbots form a swarm which will come in and attack a location. When they attack a location, millions of these little microbots will form over individuals, and instead of their original goal of protecting people when a superhero or an APF officer wasn't around and something happened, that was the original goal with the Locusts. Instead, they become these kidnapping units who are working to try and maybe steal something. We're not sure if they're trying to steal something from the factory. Maybe they're just trying to bait the APF out. But here we see that they've made their way back into the factory, and the APF they have their hands full. Even with Shifty on hand to help out with things, even with DA visiting, you can see that it is just a shit show. The glider has crashed into the factory. The Gamma units have Doc completely surrounded. He's going to be in a lot of trouble here in very short order. Meanwhile, Warden is still wrestling with hers. Thankfully, Mercury and DA, they're coming in. They're going to help out. They've gotten theirs under control, sort of. Mercury has to just leave his Omega unit because there's a big problem happening, and that's we're seeing the Locust units are starting to break down and trade out their hostages. So instead of having the workers that they were taking from the factory, they're now starting to take some of the APF officers, and most importantly, they're trying to capture Warden, who is in command of all of what's going on right now. You can see even the one that DA put down has his little flare-ups going so that the microbots are leaving whoever is inside of that, and they're trying to find a new host. And this is a problem for Doc as well, because the microbots are leaving the Gamma units as well in the factory. And now he's in trouble, because he could be easily swallowed up like Warden is about to be. She's overextended. She doesn't have any help. She needs someone there to help knock off these bugs, and that's not going to happen for her. You can also see that Tech has had his wing just ripped right off by one of the Alpha units. So this is where it got interesting, because I had to try and figure out what I wanted to do next. So what I decided to do was replace the units that were indisposed with the civilians that they would actually be a part of. You can see I had to cut in here because my camera turned off, so I lost a little bit of footage, but what else is new? You can see Nurse also took a fall, so I'm using that as a abstract. Since now Nurse is without one of its wings, we decided to have an Omega unit just holding both wings and the main body carriage, and it's just ripped apart. So it looks like at least one of the things that these Locust units were after was Warden herself and some of her tech. Now they've gotten Tech the robot, they've gotten Nurse the robot, and they've gotten Warden herself, and even detached her aerial pack, which is gonna be, we're gonna see that in just a second. So you can see here are the civilians being dropped off from the Gamma units, which have turned back into their cloud swarm formation. They're flying out. You can see one of the Alpha units having ripped off Tech's wing and is taking it back with him. We see here the Omega unit that has Nurse. Mercury's trying to go after him along with DA, who's trying to rope him up, but that's going to be a tall order. You see the attempts that DA is making to use some of his sand to grip and hold and keep this Omega unit from fleeing, but that's not going to happen, seeing as there's already a mass exodus. If they can stop one of them, maybe. You can see the cloud there forming in between the building, and Shifty trying her best to leap and catch one of the Kappa units. Meanwhile, Warden has been completely overrun by one of these things and is now trapped within an Alpha unit herself. And she is soon going to be meeting with the leader of the Locusts to find out exactly what he wants. So that's gonna do it for this build. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Check out our podcast, and we'll see you soon, friends and enemies.